Welcome to day 93 of TFIF 365. I was watching one of my soap operas today when one of the characters said, "I thought I can make her happy." And my first thought was how sad that is because it's not possible. One thing that I know for sure, since starting this journey towards building the supremacy-free, coercion-free, discrimination-free, and exploitation-free lived experience I desire, is that it requires me to be the lone person responsible for how I feel. This is not to say that fucked up shit doesn't happen, because it does. I've just come to understand that I'm solely responsible for what and how I internalize and respond in turn. Anything less for me is disempowering. This is why I've been practicing putting space between my triggers and my responses with the goal of never being triggered. I've arrived at a point along this journey where abdicating the responsibility of my happiness, or any other feeling for that matter, is no longer an option. My feelings are my own, and if it's happiness I want, then it's my responsibility for seeking it out. Anything less, such as relying on others for happiness, is not only an option, it's the kind of bondage I've been running from my whole life. Why? Because if someone else is responsible for my happiness, then they also have the ability to withhold the very thing I want, which means that I'm more likely than not to do things I wouldn't normally do in an effort to remain happy. Living from a supremacy-free, coercion-free, discrimination-free, and exploitation-free perspective helps one realize that most of the terrible things that many experience are due to someone else making them responsible for how they feel, which justifies the harm. For example, they'll say, "Look at what you made me do," or "You deserved it because," just fill in the blank. Living from a supremacy-free, coercion-free, discrimination-free, and exploitation-free perspective means that I no longer make others responsible for how I feel, and I damn sure don't want to be responsible for how they feel, because that's a setup for failure. No one is capable of maintaining someone else's happiness, which means that such pursuits are doomed to fail, which leads to the very thing that you're trying to avoid, unhappiness. The problem we face as we build the supremacy-free, coercion-free, discrimination-free, and exploitation-free future we say we want is to honestly assess if, individually and collectively, do we have the desire to free ourselves and others from the burden and barrier of holding others responsible for how we feel, because unmanaged feelings, particularly among the most privileged, is the contributing factor to why previous anti-oppression, anti-discrimination, and anti-harm efforts fail. Until tomorrow, peace.